Hello, mission-driven moms. I want to tell you an experience I had years ago when I had 4 little ones at home. They were probably 7 or 8 and under, and I was a busy mom. I did some volunteer work at church and in the community. I was homeschooling these 4 little kids, and we had a little co-op thingy where we got together that I had to help prepare for. I helped my husband every now and again in business, and of course I had a house to keep and shopping and cooking and cleaning and then just caring for the kids in general, and then my own friendships and all that kind of stuff. You know, you've probably been there. And so I was really maxed out, but on top of this, I was working on my degree. And I had been turned on to homeschool and self-education, and I had found this school where I could study online on my own, and I was super excited about it. And so I was working on that so that I could be a better homeschool mom. So really maxed out. Now, in the meantime, I found out that the school I was attending was having a lecture series, and I really wanted to attend because they were going to cover some things that I was already working on and learning about, and I wanted to know more about it. And so we were able to set aside this weekend for me to go do this, and got babysitters in the whole 9 yards. So I go to this, little, wasn't a convention, it was a little seminar. And it's fantastic, and there's great people there. Most of them local, live kind of close to me. And by the second day, I start having these recurring thoughts. Like, you know, what would be really great for everyone here is if they had a place to connect after this seminar series. If they could continue to build the relationships that they're creating here, if they could continue to read great stuff and discuss it with each other, that would really help them out. And in this program I was in, this liberal arts program, we used Socratic discussion, which meant that we wrote questions, and the classes were group discussion. So I had learned a lot kind of about how to run a good discussion, and I loved doing that, and I knew it was a great learning tool. So I knew I kind of had an idea how I would do it. I hadn't done it before, but I kind of had an idea how I would do it. But I didn't have time. I mean, I just fought this idea, like, you know, Blaine's gonna kill me if I try to do one more thing, and I don't have time. And just think of the implications of what this would mean. I would have to get the house totally clean for these people every month, and make sure my children were taken care of somewhere. My husband had, you know, the type of work where he worked in the evenings quite often, and I would have to prepare for this thing. I kind of have to decide what we're going to do for readings and what we would discuss and come up with an inspiring beginning and all these things. And it just felt like so much more to take on, and I just wasn't ready to do one more thing. But it just nagged me and nagged me and nagged me. So finally, I did what I was supposed to do, and I prayed about it, and I went back the next day, and I gave in. And I just said, okay, fine, I will do this. And, you know, it was hard too because I didn't want to do it and fail at it. Like, that would be embarrassing, right? Like, I didn't want to commit to it and then not be able to follow through. So I knew if I committed, I was going to have to follow through. And that was really hard. It was really hard to take on one more thing when I was so maxed out and so busy, and I just didn't feel like there was time for one more thing. But it just kept coming back to me, and it just felt like something that I should do. Well, it turned out to be a phenomenal experience that taught me some really important lessons that I want to share with you, because you probably already know these things, but it's good to have a reminder. And if you haven't thought about it quite this way, hopefully this will be helpful if you're a mom that's feeling maxed out, and this whole idea of life mission and self-education and self-discovery just sounds like one more thing to do that you don't feel like you can make time for. But there's something about it that's kind of calling you, and you feel like it's something that you should consider. One of the things that happened to me when I started up this book club, I passed around a paper, I got everybody's email, and that was another task I had to do, was compile everyone's email and send them out reminders and give them my address and all that kind of stuff. Well, I did it. They came the first time, I don't know, 12 or 15 people. I was really surprised. It was a pretty good turnout. And we had a great experience. I kind of shared my story and why I loved learning and what I had been doing so far, and they were really excited about that, and they really wanted to kind of be on this journey with me and work on their own education and do this book club. So we were all super excited. And what happened was every month I would have an experience at some point during the month, and I'm kind of a planner, so it's usually kind of earlier on because God knows me, that I would be given the information for the next month. It would just kind of be gifted to me. It would just kind of come and I would be like, oh, this is what we should do. This is what I should open with. This is kind of the story I should tell or share. These are the kinds of things that we should talk about. This is the book that we should read for the next month. This is how I should introduce it. And I wanted to give a little author bio and do all these things to make it a great experience. And it just came. It was amazing to watch that little miracle happen, to watch how when I took on something that wasn't my first choice, that I didn't really want to do, that God showed me that he was going to make up the difference. He was going to expand my time. He was going to increase my capacity and enable me to do this thing in almost no time. I mean, aside from this little time when I would kind of write down what we were going to do, I was going to read anyway. So I was reading along, and then we would have the book club, and it was just phenomenal. Well, I was blessed more than anybody else in this experience. And that's what happens when you accept the opportunity to grow. You realize all these incredible things about yourself. I built incredible friendships that are still friendships that I have today. And I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I like teaching and I'm a good teacher. I learned that I could form a community, because what happened over time was this book club grew. And it was 15 and then 20 and then 25. And eventually we had about 50 people descending on our house every month, dividing them up into separate rooms in the house because that was way too many to have a good discussion. And eventually I realized, God kind of gave me the next step. This should become a community. This should become a community of families that do things together, that have a family ball every year and a Shakespeare night for couples and a science experiment opportunity. And I had the people around me that I needed and the help that I needed. And we formed some systems and some plans, and we sent out invitations, and we had this meeting, and the community grew, and over that next year to over 100 families. It was a phenomenal experience. And I gained more than anybody else. I learned much more about who I am, about what I'm capable of. I watched God use me to bless other people. I watched him increase my capacity and help me to grow and become more than I had been before. And that's the kind of adventure and opportunity that Life Mission is for a mom. It can be hard to listen to that and to answer that call that you feel, but you will be forever changed. So if you're feeling maxed out, if you're feeling like you can't take on another thing, I would challenge you to kind of take a better look at your life and think about what's most important, what can be let go, and what's nagging you, what nagging feelings you're having that you should take on, because my guess is that is God inviting you to have an opportunity to growth, to grow, to expand your capacity, an opportunity for him to slip in there and show you that he can expand who you are and what you're capable of, and you will discover all kinds of amazing things about yourself that you didn't know. And I can promise you that because I had this experience and I've had many others where that happened to me as well. So please take that challenge, commit yourself to growth and to increasing your capacity and to listening to those little opportunities that will make you more than you currently are. If this was helpful, please pass it on to a friend. Please subscribe and head over to our Facebook group, the Mission Driven Mom Mastermind, and join our Facebook group. We would love to get to know you and have you as part of our community. And you can also head to themissiondrivenmom.com and grab your copy of The Mission Driven Life so you can learn all about these 7 laws of life mission and start to embark on that journey with us.